Alrighty, Dumelang maseve this week. We are in the VW T-Cross 1 liter DSG 85 kilowatts Comfortline. I might have gotten that little intro wrong because I don't know like grammatically or sentence construction if it was correct. But we're in the T-Cross and we are going to have a conversation. So on the exterior, I think the T-Cross is a polo that's not trying to be a polo, but ends up being a polo on stilts. So like it's a polo SUV. Looks a lot like the conventional hatchback polo, especially up front with the LED headlamps, the more thinned out headlamps. You have the square fog lamps at the bottom. So the front is a very nice little front. I think it has a lot of lines, you know, the grille and all these partitionings does have a lot of lines up front, but it looks a lot like a polo. Like it's very, very much like a polo. I do love this grayish, darkish grayish color that it's finished in. It's actually quite nice, very pretty. And when you move on to the rear, you have the T-Cross badging just underneath the license plate, and you also have these rear lights, which I find to be quite cool. Very boxy kind of stance and kind of shape. It sits on these optional 17-inch wheels. And yeah, I think on the exterior it's quite nice. You also have folding side mirrors. You know, you have the R-Line badging over there, so it does indicate that this is the Comfortline R-Line, right? So we'll explain all of that, but I think on the exterior, I'm very much impressed. You also have these roof rails, so it gives it a very SUV capable, sporty kind of stance. So I really do think that overall, it's a very cute little polo, not polo. I love the T-Cross, man. Polo, not polo. Moving on to the interior, I think it's very nice. Nothing that's uncommon, nothing that's unnew. You guys see that there's a multi-function steering wheel that you do find in a Polo, you do find in other VW products. You have your instrument cluster that is digitized. This is an optional extra also. Usually get it in analog. Straight off the basic one comes in analog, and it's actually a very nice and functional instrument cluster, right? You can check all your consumption, your oil, temperature, your trip, your overview, your range, speed, all those kind of things, or the speedometer, all those kind of things. So it's actually a very nice digital cluster. And then you have your infotainment system screen that has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto connectivity. You have your climate control menu. Your climate control menu is functional with the knobs, which I'm very happy about. You have two USB-C ports up front, so it is a bit jarring sometimes because I have the normal USB cables for the cars, because but about USB-C, so I never travel with USB-C, but so if you have those, get an adapter for that. You also have a wireless charging bay up front. You have push to start. You obviously have your gear lever here. You have your handbrake, you know. Very nice interior to be in. It looks very, very nice, very casual, very simple, not too much is going on. And I love the fact that there's a lot of conventional buttons and not too much of these new tech haptic touch kind of things. You know, you have your cloth seating, and I think it's very nice. Also, you do have ISOFIX for the kiddies, and it's a very nice interior. Electric windows, electrically adjustable side mirrors, you know, and yeah, very nice. Let's get into the drive. What is powering the VW T-Cross, right? The VW T-Cross is powered by a 1 liter TSI engine that produces 85 kilowatts and 200 Newton meters of torque, mated to a 7-speed DSG. And right off the bat, the first thing I can tell you is that there's a lot of turbo lag in here. When you put your foot down trying to start and go off, it is a bit crazy. The stop start also kind of like kills the car. It just goes dead. And then when you like release your foot off the brake, it does start up again, like yes, Toma happy. But when you put your foot down and try to accelerate, it just takes some time. So there's a lot of turbo lag in this engine. So sometimes I have to just shift it into sport mode just so I can get a little bit of a kick. And 85 kilowatts is a bit of a generous kind of kilowatt. Like a lot of cars in that range kind of move a little bit better than this. But yeah, I mean, it's a very nice little car to drive. I think on a daily, very nimble, very agile. You know, I always consider things like it's easy to park, you know, like 110, what's it, you know. So that's the nice thing about smaller cars, you know. they're quite nice to have. In terms of fuel consumption, I have done 7 liters per 100 k's, and we have managed to do about 1,000 kilometers in the past few days with this car, because I did quite a lot of extensive traveling over the festive period. Is it a festive period? Easter festive, the Good Friday festive. But anyway, during that time, I drove quite a bit. And to be honest, even on long haul, it does kind of carry itself well. Once it's in motion, you kind of forget about the turbo lag. Maar these are chucks off a standstill when the starts up again. It's a bit like disconnecting, but I think once you city driving and highway driving, I can give it its flowers. It really does perform quite well. But I think the turbo lag can be frustrating, and I think it'll be frustrating to people who are very, very performance oriented. But it's those things that these are more daily kind of cars. So some people might like it, some people might not. I just feel it, and I find it to be a bit so jarring. If you guys didn't know, the VW T-Cross is actually VW South Africa's best-selling import. It is really one of the cars that has done absolutely well for them in the industry and for their market and for their brand portfolio, because it came in at a very peak time of the SUV and crossover craze. So then it just captured the market very beautifully. And this is the mid-spec one. This is your T-Cross Comfortline. So you have your High Line, Comfortline, Trend Line, then you have the R-Line, right? There's the R-Line, 85 kilowatts, which is this one. So I have a Comfortline. I'm testing the Comfortline R with an R-Line kit, which is obviously an extra. And then you get a fully blown R-Line that has 110 kilowatts, right? And this one only has 85 kilowatts. This vehicle is priced at 456,100 Rand, and its base price is about 400K, somewhere there, And I find it to be very expensive. Cars in this segment usually playing at around 380 upwards. Your top specs are usually this price. So I would have loved for the proper R-Line to be around 456,000 Rand, or maybe 480, but 480 is also a lot. So I do find the car to be a bit pricey at 456,000 Rand 100. However, it is a charming little product, and it's good. It's easy to see why it is VW's best-selling import. Very spacious. You can fold all the seats down. You get a lot more ample. You get ample more. You get ample room. There's a lot of things that have been omitted here. You don't have the Beats Audio sound system, which you can really do without, guys. I wasn't a big fan of the Beats Audio sound system when I tested it a few years back. I just feel like even VW standard sound is fine. The connectivity on this infotainment system and the tech hasn't given me any problems, so that is also a good plus. However, obviously the touchscreen will, phezulu fingerprints will be laden and stuck here. The cup holders on the door bins are actually quite nice and spacious. I hoy a lot of stuff in there. So it's a very spacious little car. And for the car of its size, you wouldn't think it's spacious. But I think it's a car that will work very well for people who are single, like myself. No dog, no cat, no husband, no, nothing. I think this car would work for my lifestyle currently. And I think the fuel consumption is actually quite decent, because I didn't actually have to spend much during my test cycle week with this car. So I think the T-Cross is a nice car. It's a very commendable product. I think if you want to be in the VW family and you don't want to drive a Polo, this is a very good option. This is actually a very nice option for you. Like I did mention, I do have a bit of an issue with the turbo lag and the pricing. So those are my main quarrels. You even have storage space up here, so you can hoist some keys and stuff. So it's quite nice, You also have your cup holders down here, whatever. So it's quite nice. I do also have one thing that I just figured out is that this thing, this storage space between the seats, it's too far back. I like to rest my arm, so it's too far back. So that's that's a bit boring. But overall, I think the T-Cross makes a lot of sense, especially for small families. So if you have a little kid, it's you, your partner, and your baby, I think it will work beautifully. The boot space is also quite nice, can fit quite a lot of things. So I think it's perfect for small families and families that do not have a very huge budget to buy big SUVs, and also people who like smaller cars, So I think this works very much. It's a very nice car. It's a very nice car, and I think I can vouch for it. So ultimate verdict, I'll have to give the VW T-Cross a 7 out of 10. Reason being, the turbo lag is a bit of an issue for me. That's the one thing. And the pricing. Do find it to be a little bit too expensive. But it is a nice car. I think it's a very nice car. And I've always loved the T-Cross, actually. And I think that it's also a car that I've been asking VW South Africa to give me for a very long time. Because I have enjoyed it. I was like, actually, I'm very inclined. And when we have to speak about the rivals, I think at 456,000 Rand, you can get a lot of cars. You can get a Peugeot 2008. You can get a Suzuki Fronx, I think you can get a Corolla Cross. I'm seeing one here. I think you can get a Corolla Cross. You can get a Polo. You can get a Honda Elevate. You can get a Hyundai Venue. You can get the Kia Sonet. You can get you can get quite a plethora of cars at that price point. So I think it all boils down to preference, but there's not much like negatives about it. I think the pricing is just the one thing that I'm like, yo, really? And that is it from me, maseve. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Please do remember to watch those ads. I'm going to remind you guys in every video. Please do watch the ads. And yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys are getting for 456,000 Rand 100. And also let me know what you think of the VW T-Cross. So yeah, I'll see you in the next one. I definitely am craving a pepper steak pie with tea. And ke batla 5 roses ne na joko ya mpalla because it's strong. Joko is strong. So ke batla 5 roses nyana ya mmeleke ne or ya lemon juice. Ebe ke pepper steak pie. Hek fetsa pepper steak pie ke cucumber nyana ke no fitisa that mufiso ola wa pie. Ke fitisa ke cucumber ntlha. I have very weird eating habits, guys. I eat the weirdest things. But yeah, anyway, I'm rambling. I'll see you in the next one, maseve. Bye bye.